Hey, this is John from Pint Comics, and if my co-host Lloyd was here, he would tell you a couple things about this show. Number one, we swear way too fucking much. And number two, we drop spoilers without any warning. Now that you know that, listen in and enjoy the show.
¿A la señora la conoces?
¿Eh?
Digo, si conoces a la señora.
Mucho. Tuvimos una historia muy linda, varios años.
Spooky season is here again, everybody. It's another episode of Pint Comics. I'm John.
Oh, I'm Stu. Okay, well, you didn't do that a minute ago when we recorded for Halloween Kills.
All right, hold on.
Leave that in. Leave your error in. Let the people know.
I'll leave my error in. I did not.
We just stop talking and let's have us look at you. Like
my fault.
Right?
My fault. Sometimes I don't remember what I say beforehand. With Lloyd on hiatus, I like to have whoever is the co-host on just say who they are, and I forgot to put that out there to Stu. So that's Stu. I'm John.
Hi, Stu, and this is Eve.
And Eve is here.
Yay.
Eve is a longtime friend. Met you at Horror Fest a couple years ago, CT Horror Fest. Because you slang tea, right? You sling tea, you sell tea.
I am the tea lady. Yes, I am. I love that tea. And Larry loves the tea. He's the only one that gets the lemon one. So I always give him whatever I have.
I buy the lemon one too. I've purchased the lemon one. I have it in my cupboard. I have it in my cupboards as we speak. It's very good. But yeah, so met Eve there. She's a horror fan. She is an up and coming podcaster. She has a show that will be coming out pretty soon, and we'll talk about that towards the end of the show. But she's a big Stephen King fan, big horror person, part of the community that we have going on up here, and got, I guess, involved with the Pint around the time of the Friday the 13th videos that Stu and Larry and myself were doing, because you're a big fan of those. You're very vocal.
Yes. Very vocal, especially to Stu and his pregnancy watches.
Yeah, she was totally pregnant. No one.
She was not pregnant.
You know what's really sad is we did 11 movies, and about at the halfway mark is when that big box set came out from Shout Factory, and so the first 4 or 5 movies I watched, like my old versions. Then I got that box set and I watched the rest, all the way through. And
you opened the box set?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh no!
Absolutely.
Oh, dude,
yeah.
no.
That's not a collector's edition. That's something to be watched and check out. I'm getting on Facebook on the Pint page, a lot of these are a year ago. We did a lot of them in October of last year, 5 and 6 were, I think, around this time last year. I've been having the hankering to watch them again, which I think I said at the very end, which we probably ended in March of this year, that I'm done. I'm fucking done with the Friday the 13th movies for a while.
You're never done with them.
It being the spooky season, right, where this is a Halloween time, I'm like, which ones do I want to watch this month before it's over? So I figured I'm going to hit 2, because 2 is the classic slasher, 5, because 5 is my favorite, and I absolutely love it.
What?
And yeah.
I know, right?
And maybe I'm jumping back a little bit. I might do 3 and or 4. I don't know if I want to do both, but I want to throw one more in there.
3. That's what he get his mask. You have to do 3. What's the matter with you?
Yeah, and 3 also has that really weirdly rapey Jason remember that
one who abducts women into the forest.
That was weird. She was probably pregnant.
Stu had a lot of pregnancy ideas there.
He sure did.
So we're going to talk to Eve. There's 2 months left in 2021, and the Pint Movie Invitational format is ending. I have a few people left over we have to do these episodes with, and Stu, we have yours planned, so that will be there. Eve has picked hers. Stu did one prior. Eve has not. So we'll talk about that movie in a minute. But what we do here is we always have the 5 questions for new guests. You're a new guest, Eve. So I've got 5 questions. They're very simple. They're very simple, stupid questions that when Lloyd is here, he likes to ask. They're little personality gauging questions. Get people to be able to see inside Eve's head there a little bit of what she thinks. No, but it's all surface level stuff. We're not getting too deep. So are you ready for your 5 questions, Eve?
Give it to me, John.
All right. Your first question. And this is not a lot of these questions are going to be this or that. This is a 3. And then I'm going to have you rate them. All right.
Ooh.
Vanilla, chocolate, strawberry. So I'm talking Neapolitan ice cream.
Okay.
I want to know if you had to eat these in stripes, what order are you going in? And like, ooh, I can't wait to get to that. And then, fuck, it's that one.
Okay. Strawberry first.
I agree. Strawberry is my favorite flavor.
Because it's the worst and you want to get it out of the way, or because
it's the softest one. If you really think about it, when you get it and you scoop chocolate, it's really hard. Vanilla comes in second with the hardness, but strawberry is the smoothest ones to actually get out of the container. Well, so I always eat strawberry first.
But is that also like based on taste?
I love strawberry, so yeah.
Number 2. What would be number 2?
Oh, chocolate or vanilla? I would go vanilla and then chocolate.
Okay. All right, fair. Stu, I'm just curious because you threw strawberry under the bus. Where would you go?
No. I was just wondering because a lot of times whenever I get things that come in flavors, I eat the worst first so that all the good stuff is saved for the end. So I was just wondering if Eve had the same philosophy whenever it comes to things like that, if that's why strawberry was first. It's too hard. It's a 3-way tie for first. I love all 3 of them. I think when you buy the Neapolitan, you have to get equal amounts of all 3 into your bowl and go that way. Otherwise, why aren't you just buying the individual flavor?
Okay.
True, but see, you don't have children, neither does John. I have 2 teenagers, so I have to get what I can. And usually strawberry is the only one that's left. So it's like, okay, mommy's going to grab a scoop of this. But yeah, strawberry, even if I didn't have to fight for it, strawberry would be the one I would like the best.
Isn't there like, I don't know, because I don't have kids, but isn't there like a hidden section of the freezer that like mom gets like an ice cream back there?
No, that doesn't happen.
No.
They're old enough to know where all the hidden stuff is now.
We talked about your horror fandom, and we know, and we talked about it before we got on, you're a big Stephen King fan. You have an entire sleeve of tattoo that's all Stephen King stuff. Very cool.
And it's not even finished yet.
Not even finished, exactly. So you still have more room for cool stuff. So here, this might be a loaded question, but
oh boy!
And you said that there's some like bad Stephen King stuff. So
there is
worst Stephen King whatever material to read, novel, novella, versus the best Dean Koontz thing to read. What are you picking up?
Just ask me what my favorite kid is.
Oh, really? Because I got to be honest, I tried years ago to get the Dean Koontz, and I don't understand this guy's appeal. He's like the Walmart Stephen King.
My daughter just popped her head in because she heard me say, "Just ask me what my favorite kid is." No, I think his worst for Steven, personally for me, is Bag of Bones.
But would you rather read Bag of Bones over the best Dean Koontz book? That's what I'm saying.
No.
Okay, so you'd rather read a quality book by a different author than the worst of your favorite. Okay, that's fair.
I read a lot, but my favorite is Stephen King, but I also like other, like his son and things like that I like. But yeah, no, not Dean Koontz. I can't get into him.
All right, so you've lived through both of them, as I have, as Stu has. 80s or 90s?
Yes, I have.
So where are you going? If you had a time machine right now, and you could live the rest of your life or the next 10 years of your life through a decade, which decade do you pick, 80s or 90s?
Who wants to live through 90s hair? But then there's 90s clothing. Ugh. I go with 90s.
Going 90s?
Early 90s, late 80s, early 90s. Can I have like in between like 89, 90?
You're like fucking
Lloyd. You can get all 3 scoops of the ice cream. I can get an 89 and 90. Come on, John.
But Stu ain't playing the game. Like you're like Lloyd has not been
I
on the
wasn't
show.
forced into choosing. I was allowed to just pipe up.
Okay.
No, I'll accept that.
I'm gonna go 90s because I was a teenager in the 90s, so I'm just gonna go 90s because that's the best time. I was a teenager then, so.
Lloyd hasn't done a show with me since I think maybe like late July or August. Yet people still keep like adjusting the rules on me and fucking me over Lloyd style. So I want to put that out there.
Since you mentioned this, I want to talk about it. I want to say it's from College Humor, but there's a online video where this guy's like, man, I wished I lived in the 90s. Like, I miss all the things from the 90s. And this genie comes and takes him back to the 90s. And he's like, you have a Super Nintendo and you have Pogs. And this guy's like, yeah, it's awesome. And the genie's like, and also don't forget, you only have a few years to stop 9/11.
Oh, man.
You're the only one who can now.
Holy shit.
All right, that's good. That's very good. Eve, these next two are, because a lot of these, when we do these, people are food related. So, Subway sandwich cut. Old school V style, or are you going for the way they do it now, right down the middle?
V style, all the way.
The V style, right? Like, why did they stop doing that?
I don't know.
You remember the V style?
Vaguely. I never really paid attention to the fact that they changed it, I guess. But yeah, you're right. They did.
You can stuff more in the bread and it doesn't spill out like they do the others. It's like, what the hell? Half my stuff is on the paper and it's not even in the sandwich for me to eat it. I literally need a spoon to eat the stuff out of the paper.
Yep.
I have a potty mouth. I have to like curve it.
If you've ever heard our show, we say right in the beginning that we swear too fucking much. So you actually,
I try not to curse. I'm a lady, goddammit.
All right, here's the last one, and I guess this could go with like say buffalo wings or whatever, even salad, blue cheese or ranch. There's one right answer and one totally wrong answer.
For you, maybe.
No, it's my show, so it's one's right, one's wrong.
Ay vey. Blue cheese can't be ranch. I'm sorry.
Good Lord, lady, are you kidding me, Stu? Are you blue cheese as well or no?
You know what? I'm not a big fan of either of them as dressings, but I love like chunks of blue cheese. Like I will just eat actual blue cheese. I think it's delicious. But when you make it into a dressing, I'm not a big fan. And same thing with ranch. Yeah. I don't like ranch dressing, but if you gave me Cool Ranch Doritos, I'm going to eat the fuck out of those.
I mean, for dressing wise, I love the French one. The French, yeah.
Balsamic vinaigrette.
I like
raspberry vinaigrette.
Also very good.
Oh, I like French. Good. I like Italian. I like creamy Italian. So Thousand Island kind of turns your salad into a Big Mac. So it's tricking you into thinking you're eating a Big Mac without eating a Big Mac. Yeah. All right, Eve, let's get to the movie. What movie did you pick for us to watch?
I picked Terrified, which is a foreign film from Brazil, and the subtitle, sorry, boys. I love this movie. It is fantastic. It kept me watching it from beginning to end. And this is these type of movies that I watch. I don't guess who a killer is, because it doesn't have a particular killer per se, but it's just so entertaining to watch, especially the part that it goes back and forth and it kind of confuses you. You're not really paying attention, but I loved it. I loved it.
I've never heard of it. I've never seen it, never heard of it. I saw it was a Shudder exclusive. I watch things with my wife, and she's not anti subtitles or anything, but my wife likes to play on her phone while she's watching things. So things that are subtitled, she'll generally skip because she's not going to know what's going on.
Yeah.
But I don't mind subtitles so much. I like Pan's Labyrinth is in my top 10 movies of all time. So I have no problem with it. I have to pay attention.
I'm fine with subtitles as well. A few years ago, Scary Larry puts out his list on horrornewsnetwork.net, excuse me, of top 10 movies of the year. And this was on whatever 17, I think it came out, it was on that list. And I remember him telling me it was like absolutely like pretty horrifying.
Yeah, he's a fan. Mm-hmm.
So when Eve picked it, I knew I had to watch it last night after work. And my wife, Lindsay, she likes horror movies, but she's not like into like the supernaturally like kind of paranormal stuff. So I said to her, like, you're not going to want to pay attention to this. So she kind of sat facing me and read. And there was points in the first 15 minutes of this movie where I was audibly like making noises. I'm like, like, holy shit. And she's like, I don't want to even look. I'm like, no, you don't want to look. So it's called, I'm going to say this, and Eve, please put up with my poor Spanish. Don't call me out on it. All right.
I will.
In America, it's called Terrified. The actual title is Aterrados. All right. I'm going to try that. Aterrados. It came out in October of 2017 initially at what was called Morbido Fest in Mexico. And there was really no theatrical release for this otherwise. In the U.S. and Canada, it was streamed immediately on Shudder. Its release date on Shudder was a year later, October 11th of 2018. This was written and directed by a guy named Damien Rugan. I'll still give everybody's credits, even though we're not going to know for the most part. It's only fair. He did a movie called The Last Getaway and another movie called You Don't Know Who You're Talking To. The cast. Here's the cast.
You don't know who you're talking to. The story of Karen.
Yeah. and its sequel, I Want to Talk to Your Man. The cast, right off the bat, we got Maximiliano Gione, who plays Commissioner Funes.
He was so good.
Oh, this guy's great. He was on a TV show. Now, this is in Buenos Aires, Argentina. So I think these are all Argentinian actors. He was on a TV show called Dance with an apostrophe mark, or I'm sorry, a exclamation point, and Gypsy Love, another TV show. There was some talk on one of the pages I was reading when I was doing research on this movie that said, funnily enough, you mentioned Pan's Labyrinth, and Eve said Del Toro. That Del Toro, I guess, is attached to remaking this in America. And as I watched this movie, and I know it might not be a popular choice, but looks-wise, I could see Mel Gibson in his, Mel Gibson in his bearded look, I could see him playing that role for some reason. I don't know why, but he plays
and his beard looked like in was it Fat Man?
I didn't see Fat Man, but there's something else I saw him in very recently, and where he's just got. No, I didn't see that either. But he, maybe I don't know. So, maybe it was just even like real life pictures of him, but where he has that like really messy beard and kind of gray spots in it. I could kind of picture that. Norberto Gonzalo plays Geno. Geno is an ex-forensic autopsy specialist who is now a paranormal investigator. He was on some TV shows in Argentina, Romeo y Julieta and Champions of Life, playing Maura Albrecht, who is also another paranormal investigator, is Elvira Oneto. Very stern woman, very stern looking woman. There's something about her.
Very handsome woman.
She is. That's the best description. She's very handsome. And
handsome.
Not to sound like a dick, but there was points where I was like, is that a guy in drag? But it's not. It's just she's a very handsome woman.
She's very much the Latina Lin Shaye, I thought.
Okay. Oh. All right. I see that. I absolutely see that. She's been in some movies, Russian Roulette and Jennifer's Shadow. George L. Lewis plays Dr. Rosenstock, who is the third paranormal investigator in this movie. No credits at all on IMDb. This guy did this one movie and said, fuck it, I retire. Giulietto Valina plays Alicia or Alicea. She was in La Flor and Cowboy. She is the ex-girlfriend of the Funes character, the cop.
Yep.
And she is the mother of a very unfortunate young boy.
We'll
get into that.
Excuse me.
And then finally, and again, I had another idea for a casting in this one. Damien Salamone plays Walter. He was in a TV show called Limbo and a movie called Cursed Bastards, which was also directed by Damien Rugan. And he is one of the unfortunate neighbors that has some shit going on in this neighborhood. He's Zachary Quinto, by the way. If they made this movie here,
okay.
I saw Zachary Quinto in that guy. No, you don't agree, Eve? No,
no.
All right, I'm casting Zachary Quinto. So
well, good.
All right, Eve, do you want to just give us like we call it over here the bumper sticker? Do you want to give us the very concise plot summary of what Terrified is about?
I said Terrified is about Zachary Quinto. No, I'm just kidding. Basically, it goes back and forth. You think it's about a husband being accused of murdering his wife when a ghost did it, a spirit did it. But it really isn't. It's more about the neighborhood within the three houses.
Okay.
Something links them together, and especially the water. If you remember when he's the part where the gentleman, with the guy was saying, Zachary Quinto, which I'm gonna fucking call him that now. Was telling the kids, get away. It's your don't drink my water, get away. That connected. That is what caused. That was the domino effect. The house, the man was remodeling it. It's always with the freaking remodeling of a house. that sets things in motion. Am I explaining it right?
Probably no, you absolutely are. It's essentially, if you just wanted to put it even down a little bit further, Buenos Aires, Argentina, and there is a small neighborhood where there is some severely paranormal activity happening, right?
And it's only between those 3 homes.
3 homes, right? And essentially, if you want to talk about this movie, and we'll get into it, it's kind of a movie of like 2 acts, right? We have the whole first act, which is what happens in the 3 homes, right? The 3 events that happen in the 3 homes that are crazy as fuck, and link them together.
Yeah.
And then the second half is when the paranormal investigators come in and investigate these 3 homes and introduce the Funes character in the second half. He's this he's a cop about to retire. Important plot point is he's got heart issues. They don't say it until the very end, but he makes a comment about my little problem, and I'm retiring because of this. I'm retiring, because of what's going on with me.
And he's deaf too. He has the hearing aid.
Yeah, he's deaf too.
As well.
He's deaf too. So you know what? I think it would be fun, since there's 3 houses. I'm going to go to each one of us, and we're going to talk about what happens in that house, right?
Okay. So
I'll start with the initial house, which is the married couple. And the married couple, the young woman, who, by the way, is hot. This woman was hot. She is doing the dishes, and we don't hear anything as an audience, but she's very concerned with what's happening in the sink. Okay. And this is how the movie starts, and she's kind of like just paying attention to the sink, and she's got this puzzled look on her face. Her husband comes home, and he's just kind of blabbing about his day. And then all of a sudden, she just comes out with that old chestnut that nobody wants to hear from their wife, that there's people in the sink, and they're
God.
And
Wes Craven's The People Under the Sink.
People in the sink, honey, and they're talking.
There is whispering. You didn't hear the whispering?
Like,
did you guys not hear the whispering? It was in Spanish. That's why.
I think it was meant to be. Yeah. I think it was meant to be so low. I mean, I'm sure it's there, but I think it's supposed to be one of those movie tricks where it's like, did your brain pick it up or not? I'm pretty sure I did, but not like to any like not like I could definitively say I heard a whisper. I probably heard something.
Yeah, like I couldn't tell you that I heard a voice. I knew the sink was like gurgling and there was something there, but I couldn't pick up.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So she comes out and gives the husband the bad news. Someone in the sink talking to me. Then she gives him the worst news. When he says, well, what are they talking about? Oh, they're planning on killing me. Fuck, that's a bad night for anybody, right? So the husband's like, okay. And they kind of talk a bit about the next door neighbor, Walter, Zachary Quinto, and how he's been, remodeling and banging at all hours of the night. And tomorrow I'm going to go over and I'm going to fucking give him peace of my mind. Movie moves on. They're in bed asleep. And the wife gets up to go take her morning routine, shower, all that stuff. And there's banging. There's this light banging happening everywhere. And the husband's like, fuck it. 5 a.m, I'm rolling over Zachary Quinto's house, and it's gonna be a little bit of Argentinian justice. I don't know what that is, but he strolls over. He goes over to the house, and the doorbells here are the worst. They're buzzers, even though it's a house. Yeah. It's like an apartment doorbell.
God, yes.
Walter. It's terrible. Nobody's answering. He's just yelling, "You motherfucker!"
Well, somebody answers.
Oh, somebody answers, and you can't really hear anything. It's just like a fuzzy noise.
It's
what cracks me up, he went out there in his underwear.
He did.
You're gonna give the guy a piece of your mind? Put your pants on.
Put your pants on. Nobody needs to see you. Nobody needs to see your dick. So you're right. So he does. He hears like this radio static noise, kind of, that doesn't sound like anybody answering it, and he gets pissed off. Okay, whatever. He goes back to the house, and he starts hearing the banging again. But now he realizes, he goes, that's not Walter. Sounds like it's coming from the bathroom. The wife's in the bathroom. Opens the bathroom door and just immediately is like, fuck, I should never open this bathroom door. Because this is where we get the first true kind of terrifyingly horrible scene of, we know something's happening now, is that the wife is like suspended in midair. Small bathroom. There's blood on both sides of the walls. And the curtains are covered in blood, and the bathroom is all bloody, and she's just being thrown from one side of the room to I'm laughing, it's terrible. One side of the room to the next. Her head is hitting every fucking surface. And I kind of like the scene because instead of immediately helping, he's like more like, what is happening? Like, which I think a lot of people would be like,
yeah.
Your first reaction would be like, yes, I have to save my loved one, but what the fuck is happening right now?
Like he's telling her to stop.
I know, he's like, stop it. She's not doing it, dude. She's dead.
It's like, I'm pretty sure nobody in the world is just levitating and slamming their head off each wall of their own volition, guy.
Well, she
slammed. Like, you expected to stop it, and she was like, oh, shit, I should. Why didn't I think of that?
You know what? Thanks for the suggestion, dude.
I'm saying.
It's a little late, but she ends up dying, right?
So heartbreaking, though, that scene.
Oh, it's very sad.
With him crying. Oh, my God. It was awful.
So
Thank God I'm divorced.
Well, in that scenario, it would have been you. So, you know what I'm saying?
Not really.
I was going to say, as people who've seen horror movies, like my wife, if she watched this movie, says, like, if I told you the sink was talking to me all day and that the sink
you better fucking listen to her.
Yeah, we're fucking leaving. We're not staying in this house.
See,
I'm immediately leaving.
See, I'm a person that like, and I'm not a believer. Right. Yeah. I don't believe in like ghosts or aliens or all that stuff because I think I have to see it first. I'm not inviting any of that shit. I'm saying it out loud right now. But my whole thing is I'm the opposite. If I came home one day and my up until this point normal wife says to me, the sink's talking and it wants to kill me, I'm kind of going the opposite. I'm not going, we have to leave. I'm going, I have to leave. Like, and get the fuck away from this crazy bitch because something happened.
You stay here and let me know how the
that's true love right there, baby. That's true love.
Look, I love you. I love you. You stay here. I'm going to go get a pack of smokes and just, we know that old story. Like, Daddy never came back.
Daddy never came back from the pack of smokes.
Right? So, okay. So he ends up in jail and he gets visited by some people. We get the initial visit with the three Argentinian Ghostbusters, right? Rosentak, what were their names? Jano and Albrecht. So they're talking to him and they're basically saying, what happened in your house? Like, we have some ideas. And then he starts to tell the story. And that's where we go on to the next vignette, which Eve, why don't you take over on the on Zachary Quinto's story? What's happening with him?
Ooh, I guess Zachary. I wanted the boy, but that's okay.
I can switch it.
No, that's fine. Zachary is an interesting one because we go into his story where he's calling the doctor. What's her name again? Albrecht. Thank you. He's calling Dr. Albrecht, and the receptionist at that office is awful. I would have fired her. She's like, "Well, call tomorrow. And he continues. He called, and he's like, "Fine." He goes home. He doesn't want to talk to his neighbors, and he knows something is going on in his house. There's something under the bed. So there's a scene where all of a sudden you just see him lift the covers under the bed and just look to see if there's a boogeyman under there. With him, it was interesting because it kept going the next day and the next day. He kept calling the office. I think he did he? It's terrible because I love this movie. I can't remember. Did he also send her a letter with pictures? He wrote her a letter or something, the doctor, because she had that letter.
He does 100% send her because she has pictures later on.
Yes, thank you. I couldn't think about, and I rewatched this last night. Can you believe it? So he does all this, and he sets up a camera, which this is my favorite out of any horror movie I've seen. I love this scene. He sets up a camera to videotape him sleeping because he swears there's something in the house that's attacking him.
Well, can I just throw one thing in there real quick
go for it.
that you pass a little bit, but there's a scene where like you see his bed move, and the way it was shot was like I couldn't tell if he moved his own bed, but then he kind of moves and he gets on the bed, and as he's on the bed sleeping,
it moves on its own. Yes,
and
I forgot about that.
This guy is like, I'm like, this fucking guy knows this is happening. And he is fucking sleeping in this fucking room every night. Okay, go back, Eve.
Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry, I skipped through that.
None of these people have ever seen a horror movie before.
No.
Oh my God, it's like he's and the thing is, he stays in the goddamn bed. He stays in the house. Get out.
Yeah.
You're Spanish. You can leave. You're not white. Sorry. No offense, boys.
wait.
In every horror movie.
Lucy, hold the fuck. Back up. I'm gonna make the beeping sound. Beep, 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 beep. Wait a minute. So so white people don't leave in horror movies? I'm not even saying you're wrong, but I want to hear that.
In every horror movie that you see, you guys want to investigate what's happening. Get the fuck out.
Yeah.
I just want to say this because, like, I never will have a chance to say this in my life, but what do you mean by us guys? All right. I just wanted to say that.
Well, my kids are half white, so I tell them all the time. They're like, "Well, that's not my half." But anyway, I digress. So during the night, the camera falls, or he wakes up. It crashes, so he's trying to go back and see what was in it, and he sees that the monster. I'm sorry, the monster, whatever it is. We find out towards the end what it is when you tell your side of the story. Had come out of under the bed. And then he went into the closet after it was standing over him. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys.
I think
he sees this, and then he sees that it's behind him, and he has a gun. At this point, I forgot he did have a gun. So he opens the closet. He has the gun, but there's nothing there.
He goes into the closet with the gun, shuts the doors.
He teaches all his shirts a lesson.
He does teach his shirts a lesson. He turns around and sits down like Indian style on the floor, and he's trying to fuck with the camera. And in the viewfinder, we see that the door opens again. He gets this is the last we kind of see of him for now. He kind of gets pulled into the closet, right?
He does get pulled into the closet, but we do see him at the very end when the little boy, which that's gonna go to Stu, it comes over with his little football, aka soccer ball, and he comes over and he's drinking from the faucet that's outside the guy's house, which in Latin America, you see a lot of that outside the homes. And the guy's at the window, but you can't really see him, but he's banging and he's telling the kid, get away from the house. Don't drink from my water. It's for your own good. Get away from the house. And as he's backing away, bam, the truck hits the kid and the kid dies.
I like how if I recall correctly, the last thing Walter says is, it's for your own good. And then the bus hits the kid.
And the bus just plow right into the kid.
Now, real quick, can you describe the thing that's under the bed? Because holy fuck.
Well, if you want it for a reference, think about that Mel Gibson movie. We're going to go Mel Gibson. It was Mel Gibson, Joaquin Phoenix. It was the alien film. I can't remember the title of it.
Signs.
The Signs. It looks just like that, but with a lot of glycerin all over it, and it's shiny. That's what it looked like when it came out. That is the first thing that when I pictured, I was like, holy shit, that looks just like the alien from Signs.
Out of the whole movie, that segment when he's filming, I think there's two separate segments where before he films, the first night we were with him, and he kind of sees the shadow and the shadows in the other room, doing weird stuff. And then when he films, that segment was the scene that had me holy fuck, that was.
What about when the light kept turning off at him because it kept unplugging?
Yes,
I missed that part too. That was pretty freaky.
Every time he had to plug the light back in, and his hand was blindly under the bed.
Gosh.
Yeah, totally fucking crazy.
I said, move the freaking bed.
Just leave. Just fucking leave.
Yeah.
Why are you so
go
tied
to
into
a hotel? Go to a family member's house.
Yeah.
I understand the stresses of home ownership. I own a home, but I'm telling you right now, that shit starts happening. This place is done. That's one of the things. I'm not a huge fan of Poltergeist, but that's one of the things I like about that movie is there's that last scene when they're leaving, and I don't remember if they say they left something behind or the kid turns around and Craig T. Nelson just goes, "Don't look back," and they're just fucking gone. That's exactly it. Don't look back. Say goodbye to the house. We had some good times there, and now it's fucking it's a fucking haunted nuclear holocaust. Don't go back. So Eve set it up for you very well, Stu. The little boy gets hit by the bus, and now we go to his house. What's going on there?
So 25 minutes into this movie has already head faked you twice, where it's here's this couple, and it's going to be their story. No, I lied. Here's Walter, and it's going to be his story. No, I lied again. And then you get into the paranormal investigators, and there's a third house, Alicia's house, across the street from Walter and Clara and her husband. And she is the mother of the little boy who gets hit by the bus. And she used to be in a relationship with Funes, who is a deputy, but they also call him captain. I was confused by what his actual rank in the police army is, but he comes over and her little boy has come back. Instantly, because she looks out her window, there's muddy footprints, and there's muddy footprints in her house, and they don't show you it for a while. The movie kind of wants you to put it together because the married couple, one of the first things that you hear in this movie is they talk about like, hey, we hit that dog with our car and that dog's still alive. Hooray.
Yeah.
I'm glad we didn't bury it. And so instantly, when I heard that, I was like, oh, this is Pet Sematary. Whenever the kid got hit by the bus, I was like, oh, this is Pet Sematary. I get it. So you know what's going to be there. But what I didn't know was what the kid was going to look like. Because when the guy says he hit the dog and then the dog came back to life, I just thought it was a dog and it was perfectly fine. But you end up seeing this kid and this kid is very much a corpse. Like he's a zombie movie corpse.
He's like, they did a really good job. Because you're into the FX side of things. You do makeup and everything. So you mean beautiful in that sense, right? Not in the
beautiful.
Okay. He's a lovely young man.
He really is. All like disgusting and like just sitting there, just
and
beautifully sitting there in gray, and looks like he's about to spew any moment.
He's bloated. What I liked about that scene so much was this is how we kind of frame Funes coming into the story is. He's been called into this because he is the ex-boyfriend of Alicia, and he knows that Jano is this ex-colleague of his who has gotten into the paranormal end of things.
Well, we don't really know that's his ex until he's talking to Jano about it. He goes, "How do you know her?" And he says, "We had a beautiful relationship, a beautiful past relationship." And then something interesting,
or something.
Yeah, and then something interesting happened when that is said, which I'm gonna let Stu talk about that.
Right.
Yeah, I totally caught that thing that you're talking about. So,
see, I didn't catch that. So,
no, I don't know what she's talking about.
You don't
I didn't catch that.
Because when he's telling him about her and I, we had a beautiful relationship, una relación bonita, which means beautiful relationship, which they translated wrong. They all of a sudden, we have a lot of good memories. Suddenly, the milk spills on the table. Like the kid is pissed and just knocks it over. Like, don't talk about my mom. That's what I caught on it. Because he's talking about their relationship and suddenly the milk just spills.
I mean, I have a question for both of you. I mean, they don't say it in the movie, but is that his kid?
No.
You don't think so?
That's not his kid.
It doesn't seem to be. I imagine
because he said her son.
Oh, yeah, that's true. But I just imagine their relationship was since the kid had been born. Like sometime in between the kid being born and dying is when they dated.
The effects piece of it was great because you get this, this kind of like, it's not a colorful kitchen, but, you get this kitchen with actual real, like, yellows and, and reds and everything inside of it. And then at the table, you have this black and white kid. That's the only way to describe it is he's dressed in his funeral garb, which is like a little like kind of like little boy's suit almost, like a sweater type suit.
It's a little boy's suit. It's a cute little. I think he had like a little vest.
Like a little sweater vest and everything.
He looked really cute and adorable.
No, he did not. He looked frightening as fuck.
That's because you're chicken shit. He looked great.
I am a chicken shit, and I also like the little touch of the mother, like giving him like milk and cookies and like
a bowl of cereal.
It was a bowl of cereal and a glass of milk. I'm like, put the milk in the goddamn cereal.
Yeah, that's redundant. Lady. You don't need that much milk in your life.
This isn't Get Out,
Hey, look, if you're dead, the osteoporosis might be a bigger problem than what we thought.
Literally all the calcium.
So in this segment, Stu, what do we start learning about Funes and Jano? Their relationship.
You're asking me all these questions I don't know. You let me tell the story the way I remember the story.
Perfect. Tell the story, Stu.
What happened during the beautiful relationship? I don't know. I'll tell you the story the way I remember the story. So they're talking. A light goes out, and they start talking. They hear a noise, and they look over, and the milk is down. And they're like, Yano says, well, did you take any pictures? Do you have any pictures of what position he was in?
Positioning,
did his arm move? And they said they can't remember whether his arm moved or not, because we haven't seen this kid move. For him being alive, and he's literally dug his way out from under the ground. His fingers are all worn down from digging his way out of the ground. He's made it to the house. He's walked on the ceiling, on the walls. But at this scene, we haven't seen him move at all. He's just sitting at the table while they're talking about him. And then we don't see him knock the milk over, but the milk glass falls over and they don't know if his arm has moved. So they start talking like, look, we got to get this kid out of here. We got to rebury this kid. If we let Alicia tell people what happened, they're going to lock her away. You don't want that to happen to Alicia, so we're going to rebury this kid. We're going to pour a bunch of concrete over him so that this doesn't happen again. We're going to knock her out with Vicodin? Valium.
Liquid
knock
Valium.
her out with injectable Valium to knock her out so they can get rid of the kid. Yano goes outside, and the Dr. Albrecht is right outside Walter's house taking pictures.
Time out. You missed the funniest part.
What?
Okay, see, I know this side of the story really well. So when they're talking about the kid and how he got himself out because of the nails and the hands and so on and so forth. But when they went to talk about it, he turned the light off in the kitchen. And then they were talking about the relationship, and that's when the milk turned over, and then he turned the light back on. And when they're about to leave, he tells Jano, he goes, "Don't turn off the light.
Yeah.
Leave the light on."
I did laugh at that. Leave the light on.
Leave the light on. Don't turn it off. That to me was hilarious.
So Yano, I can't remember Yano, whatever his name was. He's outside. He sees Dr. Albrecht and like, oh, this isn't a coincidence. Something's going on here. Come over with me because we got something wacky going on in this house too. Because Dr. Albrecht is there at Walter's request to check out his house. She comes over. Stuff happens. Yano ends up leaving to set up the cemetery stuff. And the little boy's friend comes over to like collect his toys that he left there. And he looks inside the house and he sees the dead kid. So Albrecht and Funes hear him. They go into the kitchen. They don't see the little boy, but they see that the door's open. Somebody had been there. And they decide like, all right, we gotta hide this kid. Take the kid and they put him in a freezer outside. And this is a funny part. I like they put him in a freezer outside and they shut the door. And then Funes puts a potted plant on top of it just in case.
Somebody's recording this.
Yeah,
there was somebody recording.
Yeah, the little boy is still there. He's hidden just on top of the fence, and he has his phone out, and he's recording them doing this.
He freaked out because when he's banging on the door to his friend that's sitting there dead,
he finally see him move.
Head, and then the kid, the door's open and you hear all the screaming and stuff because he must have gotten up and opened the door because you see the footprints.
Yeah, his movements aren't big. It's just like he just turns his head like a tenth of the way. But like you're freaked out by it because hey, he's fucking dead. He shouldn't be turning his head at all.
Like I said, we hadn't seen him move to that point, so there was always the possibility that like crazy mom did just dig him up. I mean, we knew that wasn't going to be the case, but we hadn't actually seen him move until then.
Oh, it was beautiful the way he moved his head. Oh. Mm-hmm. Slightly, just the right amount of turning, just like Michael Myers when he's looking at his beautiful work.
And you can actually hear like the cracking a little bit. It was pretty gross. It was pretty gross.
It was.
So this kind of caps off in terms of the initial investigation. So this is like essentially the first 3/4 of the movie. Then we go into the last like 45 minutes or 40 minutes of the movie. Funes and Jano, whatever his name is, Rosenstock and God damn, I can't remember her name. Albrecht. They're going to go in and they're going to split up and they're going to spend a night in each of the houses. So here's how it goes. I think Funes and Rosenstock go into Walter's house.
Yep.
What's his name? Jano goes into the couple's house, right?
Yeah, Clara and I forget Clara's husband's name. Yeah,
and then Albrecht. Albrecht goes into Zachary. Right, Zachary Quinto. No, the little kids.
Zachary Quinto and Fumes went into that house.
He goes into the other house. So they're all split up, and it kind of goes back and forth between their investigations. Albrecht is like fucking super Ghostbuster. She's got this device that she puts like on a table, and it's old school. It's got a little spot for some liquid, and then it's got like a fucking pendulum. And a fucking looks like almost like a pentacle or something on the bottom. And every once in a while it'll swing around and like start pointing. And it's an evil compass. She's got an evil compass. All right. Meanwhile, in the house of Funes and in the Walters house and Quinto's house, Funes and Rosenstock are chilling out and they're noticing weird shit like all the silverware is magnetically attached to the bottom of a cupboard.
Yes.
Some weird stuff's happening here. And then Jano is in the other house. What house is he in again? He's
in the house with the shower woman.
The couple's house, right?
No?
Is he?
I thought he was.
He's across the street, so he's got to be in the kid's house because the lady's next door, isn't she?
The lady is in.
Wait, you know what? I think we have this all wrong because the lady is in Walter's house because she looks in the crack and sees
the crack
Walter.
in the wall. She sees Walter, right?
Walter's sitting in the crack in his own wall, right?
So Funes
and Rosentalk are in the little kid's house.
Yes, because that's Alicia's house. That's where Funes would probably go.
I don't know. Eve doesn't look convinced.
Oh yeah, because that's where Alicia went when. No. Was it?
Yeah, because the other neighbor, the other little boy's mom kept calling that house, and Funes was the one who answered it.
Yes.
So that was her house. Funes and Rosentalk were in Alicia's house, the mom.
That's because when she showed up. Yeah. Because I'm trying to think, where was it where the doctor guy was getting sucked?
That was in Alicia's house. I don't want anybody out there.
They all look alike.
Right. I thought
the houses, people. I said that houses.
Don't get too excited. Eve said the doctor was getting sucked. It's not like that. They go in.
That's what he said in Spanish. Me está chupando. That means it's sucking me.
That part was literally disturbing as fuck. So there's like this silverware. It's all attached to the bottom of a very wooden cabinet. Makes no sense. Obviously supernatural shit. He's kind of rubbing his hand over it and playing with it to see how it's staying up there. And a knife shoots up and stabs him through the hand into the cabinet. That's weird, but it gets weirder. Because all of a sudden, his blood starts to go upwards towards the cabinet, and you actually hear a sucking noise.
Yeah, it's like...
And then he says...
awesome.
And I think my favorite part of all of this ending, right? So there's a lot of supernatural scares in this, and there's some really good jump scares that happen in this whole ending bit. But my absolute favorite bit about this whole second half of the movie is the actor and the character, Funes' reactions to everything.
Because he was amazing.
This is a regular guy, a cop, a detective, in as Stu said, the police army. He might be a commander.
Deputy captain. He's 2 months out from retirement.
He's a capitan.
He's el capitan. He said it. He has a heart issue. Right, he's got a hearing aid. So he's
was the translation good on that? Because the translation I saw, he said he has a coagulation issue.
Well, I mean, I get that, but I didn't have translation issues in terms of in terms of like maybe like they put in like the wrong like. I understood what it was saying. Mm-hmm. There was some things on mine that they left letters out of. Like there was one where it was like what was like hat instead of what. Yeah. So little things like that I had issues with.
Okay.
It was like I count with Funes whenever it seems like they meant I came with Funes. It said I count with Funes. Yes. And it's like, all right, Sesame Street, calm down.
So you've got this guy who's completely not used to this world, right? No. And you've got Albrecht and Rosentalk and Jano, who have all obviously been in this world. Jano tells some stories about how when he was a police forensic autopsy specialist, he did a complete autopsy on a guy for 5 hours and the guy woke up. And
he cut the guy's head off.
He cut the top of the head off and everything. Yeah. And then the second time was an old man that started talking to him where he was dead on the slab. And that's how he got into it.
And apparently it's implied, if not kind of outright stated, that the old man on the slab wakes up and is like, hey, my kid killed me.
Yeah, he did say.
Yes,
he indicated that his son killed him. Yeah,
so he had that ability to talk to dead people.
Right, and that's why he gets into this line of work, and that's why Funes knows to call this guy.
What I wanted to tell you about Funes and my perspective on him is he's supposed to be us, the audience, seeing this. Oh, yeah. He is like, what the hell's going on? I'm getting the fuck out of here. This shit is crazy. My heart, I can't hear shit. Like I'm out. But he doesn't leave. He keeps coming back.
I was gonna say he's a guy who keeps saying, "I gotta get out of here. I'm gonna go."
Yes,
and then he fucking doesn't.
He doesn't leave.
The first 10 minutes of the last 35 minutes of this movie are him just reading, "I'm leaving. Yeah. I'm going outside. I'm done." And what I like about it too is like he's not even lying about it. He's like, I am scared. I don't understand what's happening. Let's go over a little bit of what's happening in each one of these houses. We talked about the cabinet suck job, very weird. Over in Albrecht's Walter's house, crack in the wall, right? And inside the crack, we got Walter, and you just like one of the things this movie does very well is it doesn't overshow you stuff too much. You just kind of get a glimpse of his eyes.
And it's beautiful.
It's fucking frightening. So stop using the word beautiful for this shit.
That's why I keep using because I love this shit. It's beautiful.
What, Stu?
I love it because in that particular scene, which is it's great. I don't know if your translation thing was good on your tellies, but when he's talking to her, he's like, I gotta get out of here. This is ridiculous. We gotta go. And she's gonna explain it to him. He goes, good, give me something to be able to explain what we're doing here, what's going on, because people are gonna have questions.
Right.
And that's when she started talking.
What is her general explanation?
Her general explanation is that we live in 2 dimensions. And something happened that both dimensions the other dimension cracked and is coming over to us, when they come into us, they're coming through the water as well as they're possessing our bodies.
Right.
To be able to live. So that dimension is crossing over to our dimension, which is beautiful. If you're a Whovian like I am, I'm a Doctor Who fanatic. The crack on the wall said it all to me, because with Doctor Who, there's the crack, and everybody that knows it knows what I'm talking about. But yeah, that's what she was talking about, dimensions. And when she was trying to get to that, here comes the big old thing and just whacks her right in the head and sucks her in.
Yep.
Isn't it Funez and Rosentalk who first figure out the 2 dimensions thing? Because Rosentalk is like, if you look under the chair from the right, you don't see anything. But if you look under the chair from the south end of the house, you see the guy's legs.
So yeah, I was just going to say, Funez gets 2 different explanations from 2 different characters, which line up the same way. Mm-hmm. She basically says there's 2 dimensions. Imagine it's an orange, you get the peel and then the inside. And it can transmit through water, like you said, and bodies and all that stuff. And Rosentalk basically says, look under the bed, right? This is the bed we've been talking about with Zachary Quinto, that there's something living under it. And he lifts up the bed skirt, and there's nothing there. And then he goes to the bottom of the bed, lifts it up, and there's a fucking pair of fucking feet. and Funez is like, fuck this shit. I gotta go home. So bad.
I'm done. I'm leaving.
So things just keep going on and on and on. One of the scenes that I thought was one of the scariest jump scares in the whole movie is there's a scene where Jano is in the house he's in, and he's watching the other house, and there's a window pane split by 2 windows split by a pane. Every time he looks out the left window, he can see what looks like a ghastly figure. I don't know if it's supposed to be that tall man or not or what, but he could see it. And he's talking on the phone and telling Funez that this fucking thing is in the house with you. And Funez is going through the house going, I don't see anything. Then he goes to the right pane and it's gone. He goes back to the left pane that's fucking there. And he's still talking. Goes back to the right pane, gone. Left pane there, right pane right the fucking front of him.
Yep.
I fucking screamed out loud. Scared the piss out of me.
Oh, you're such a pussy.
I am. I absolutely admit it. Eve had the pleasure of, we went to Larry's last show, and he did a couple of cult classics. He did a couple of indie horror films that are from Connecticut directors, Kurt Spieler, The Dead Girl in Apartment 3, and
great film,
and the Bloomcrest brothers, Night at the Eagle Inn. Both really good films, and those guys are both great guys. And Kurt's film played first. His was more of a movie in this vein. And so Eve sat with Lloyd and myself and Laura, and we had a good time, and Andrew Morgan from the Nomcast, and but like I literally screamed out loud multiple times because this movie was very tense.
Such a little bitch. I love
it. And Eve said to me, she goes, "You're really a bitch." And I went, "I totally am. I totally."
See, you got to understand. My first horror movie was Cannibal Holocaust, and I was 5. So it wasn't my doing. I didn't say, "Mom, let's go see it." Mom was crazy that she took us. But, I've been seeing nothing but disgusting horror things my whole life. So The Exorcist is the only thing that scares me. And it's that phone when it rings.
So wait, let me ask you a question. Let me dive into this movie for a second. This movie doesn't scare you at all? Like the first time you saw it, this movie didn't frighten you at all. And I'm not saying this is clapping. Oh, Jesus Christ. All right. So now what starts to happen, Stu, to Funez that's like bad timing? What starts to happen to him?
Wait, I want to go into something first. You're talking about, does this movie scare you? And I want to tell a story. This movie doesn't scare me because supernatural things don't scare me. And the reason for that is it was the night I turned 22. My roommate in college, my girlfriend at the time, and another person went and saw The Ring at like midnight. So we watched The Ring. And I think in the 2 weeks following The Ring, I slept like not at all. Like The Ring obliterated me. I was terrified. Like whenever the little kid was like, you weren't supposed to help her, I was like, fuck, I'm out. I hate this. Everything's terrible. And I was at home and just like every night I'd lay in bed, I was like, a fucking girl's gonna get me. I just fucking know it. I watched that movie as like a real 7 days thing. I was in bed and I couldn't fall asleep one night. So I thought in my head, there is every bit as much chance that that little girl is going to come out of the TV and get me as there is that I will spontaneously develop heat vision and I will just destroy her with my heat vision. And my brain just made this synapse that was like, that's it. Now I can sleep.
Your phone was supposed to ring and tell you you're going to die in 7 days. So right there, you were already done. Like if you didn't get a phone call, you should have just went to sleep.
She might have butt dialed the wrong person. I don't know what she does. I don't know what Samara's life is like.
So Stu, what you're saying is at 22 years of age, you
scared of The Ring.
You came to the conclusion
ring?
That The Ring couldn't happen
because I don't have heat vision.
Because you also like the odds of The Ring happening would also be that you'd be able to fly or like lift cars over your head. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
And like you said earlier, you're not a believer. It's the same thing with me. I have convinced myself that because I'm not allowed to have superpowers, aliens aren't real, ghosts aren't real, monsters aren't real. None of this is real because I don't have superpowers. So, it wouldn't be fair for that shit to be real instead.
What I'm going to do, Stu, is I'm going to come out to Pittsburgh. I'm going to dump a bunch of chemicals on you and throw you in the way of a lightning bolt, and we'll see what happens then. Okay?
Oh my God!
Give me electrified cancer. That's what's going to happen.
Oh my God! You don't have to believe in any of this. It believes in you.
I don't understand that, Stu. What happens to Funes? That's like totally bad timing. But all of a sudden starts to happen to him.
What starts happening to him? I don't know. He starts running from house to house and he sees eyes gouged out. Yana. I don't remember anything specific. Oh, he starts having a heart attack. That's
he starts having a heart attack.
You hear the heart beating and he's grabbing his chest. Yeah.
So now
he's running around from house to house and all the scary shit's going on and it's too much.
The first chest thing that he goes down is with the Dr. Kebrick, the Dorothy Spornak of the film, if you will. she when she gets taken, that's when she gets knocked out, that's when he really starts having the infraction, and that's when he goes down and he's trying to get out and crawl out, but he can't because he's shot to hell. And this thing is just crawling towards him until he passes out, and then he comes to. It's not there anymore.
What was that? Was that supposed to be Walter or is a creature? But it's kind of crawling next to him and really freaking him out. So he gets up, gets in the car, and says, "I'm getting the fuck out of this neighborhood." Jano, he also found Jano in the side of a fucking like a entertainment center or something with glass in his eyes.
He's like, Funes, I need help. I have glass splinters in my eyes.
I have glass splinters in my eyes. He's all
get me out of here. I have glass in my eye.
So he just decides like this is not worth hanging out for anymore. Everybody assumed to be dead. He sees Albrecht get pulled into the wall. Did we see Rosenstock die or no? I don't think we did.
I don't think we see him die.
We see Jano, obviously he's all fucked up. Another scene that fucking completely scared the fuck out of me is as he's getting ready to leave, he's sitting in the car and you see it from afar, but you see something running towards the car. Barely can tell what it is, but it appears to be Albrecht with her head like ripped backwards and like upside down, and she's running backwards. She hits the car window. I'll give it credit. That's a great scene. He leaves a smear of blood, and he gets gone. He leaves.
Like you missed a good part when he's still having this heart situation where he comes to, and he's trying to hide from another beast or ghost or one of those slimy things. And he looks at the door, and you have, what is it? Alicia, not Alicia. The kid's mom. What's her name?
Alicia.
Yeah, Alicia. She's at the door.
Well, we missed the whole thing because Alicia comes back and reveals, like, "Hey, I know what you did with the body. I saw the video.
You're making people think I'm crazy." Yeah. And he's like, "Please help me. I'm having a heart attack."
So that's when they go to the car because she's going to drive him,
and she's in the car, and she goes, "Get in!" But he looks in the back seat, and her son is there, and she's like, "You really think I was going to let him stay buried?" Yeah. And he's like, "Fuck you!
Yeah,
I'm going in my own goddamn car." And that's when he takes off in his other car, and that's when the whole situation happens. And then
when he's back in the houses, we see that Alicia is hanged. Yeah.
When he came back, He came back because of that stupid cop.
Well, he takes off.
Right.
He takes
off. A call from the cop who, like I said, he's been a deputy this whole movie. Then the other cop's like, "Hey, Captain, I'm at the houses where you are.
I see your friend. He looks weird. His face looks weird.
Yeah.
What's going on?" He's yelling at him. "I'm giving you an order. Get the hell out of there. Get the hell." And then that's when he went back. And he's a dumbass. I would have let that dumbass didn't want to leave. Fuck you. Goodbye. I'm going to the station to have a cup of coffee.
Well, no, I don't think that's why he went back. He went back. No. No, listen. So he says to the guy, first of all, he's not making smart choices because he leaves, he stops, and he has a cigarette. He just had a heart attack. Not a good idea. But anyways, he then is sitting there and he talks to the cop, and the cop's like, I'm back. Your buddy looks all fucked up. And he tells him to leave. And the guy's like, the mayor came to the station and I risked my career. And he says, I'm here now. I'm looking for you. And then he says, you've got to listen to me right now. He says, fucking leave. And the cop goes, okay, I'm leaving. He's smoking the cigarette and he looks at the cigarette and he's blowing on the cigarette and he sees the embers. And I think that's when he thinks to himself, I've got to go back and finish this. Like, I can't let all this shit happen. So he goes back and now he goes into the houses and he's dousing him with gasoline. And when he goes back in, like you said, you see Alicia is hanging herself. We get one more good little scare.
We don't know if she hanged herself. We just know she's hanged.
The boy hung her.
Yeah, I kind of had the feeling maybe she hung herself. This is my thought. Like she maybe did realize this is all fucked. But he goes in and he sees the little boy's room. And he says, well, I'm going to look in there one more time because fuck it, this night hasn't been bad enough. He opens, this is a great scene. He opens the door and looks in the room. And it's a typical little kid's room. There's a little drawing on the door. And he opens it up and he looks in and he sees the bed. And he doesn't see anything. And then it's a quick cut where he looks down and the fucking little dead motherfucker is just staring at him I'm sorry, hold on, Eve. All beautiful and black and white. And he's just fucking mi cuerpa. I don't know. He's just, and the guy shuts the door and this is another great scene. He gets the whole place all gassed up. He throws the last can in. He's trying to light the matches, and the matches keep going out. And on the third match, you realize the reason they're going out is because the ghost of or whatever Juno is blowing them out. So he freaks out. He falls down. He takes his gun out, shoots, and burns the fucking whole place down. Then we get the epilogue. And I got to be honest, only part of this movie I didn't like is the very last thing that happens. I just thought it was kind of
it was very the first Paranormal Activity.
Yeah, which I've never seen, but I know how that ends. And that's what I thought. I thought, man, they really had to go a certain way. So it's still Mr. What's his name?
Blumetti.
And it's now different people coming in and saying,
and it's been a year.
It's been a year.
It's been a year.
You gave permission to these guys to go in your house. Everybody died. Funes is a fugitive. We haven't seen or heard from him since. I think they mentioned they're assuming he killed everybody.
Yes.
And what do you think about that? And now, Eve, what is he saying as he's sitting there?
This is interesting because you get the camera's perspective.
Yes.
And it just seems like a normal shooting. This is the three people and we're looking at Blumetti from over their shoulders. And I even noticed this. I was like, why doesn't the actor playing Blumetti keep looking into the camera? You're not supposed to do that if you're an actor. Why is he doing that?
When they're talking to him and they're like, what did they tell you? And, he's explaining, well, they said that they could figure out that, my wife, I didn't kill my wife or my wife is missing or so on and so forth. But he kept going, looking, and the cop that's in the corner kept going back, what the fuck's he looking at? What the hell is he looking at? And then suddenly he goes this, very, very, very soft, is he with you? And they're like, there's nobody there. And then he's like, ahí, está contigo? And they're like, nobody's there. And then he looks at the pictures and he pulls out the doctor, the English doctor, and he goes, it's him, but his face is burned. But that's him. When they turn around, they were turned around, all of a sudden that stupid chair just goes flying.
Well, the chair moves first.
It moves first, and then
flies into the camera. I think
the ending would have been great if once they all moved and the camera moved with it, you saw the actor with the burn. I think that would have been beautiful. It'd be he can see them, but they can't. But we see that it's there. And then he goes, he came with you guys. Yeah, he followed you guys.
I think that would have been stronger like even if they just cut to him and the camera went blank, then the camera flying, or I'm sorry, they cut to him and the scene goes blank instead of the chair flying at the camera.
Yeah, the chair's too much. Like, I even might have cut it at whenever he points. You've seen him looking over their shoulders. You know nothing's back there, and he points and says, like, is he with you? I'd have been like, credits right there.
All right.
Because in the whole movie, there was no chairs moving. There was none of that. Only like the bed part with you know.
Well, there was
Walter?
a little bit. There was a little bit in that. I think in the one house where the silverware was going up to the cupboard, there was a few things that were like floating up against the walls, if you remember. Like there was some of that stuff, but yeah, you're right. It wasn't like Poltergeist where the chairs are like fucking piling up in each other like a pig.
It wasn't like a ghosty thing. It was more of like, it's not a ghost story. It's not a zombie story. It's more of two different worlds connecting, and one is just taking over our bodies and looking really gnarly while doing it.
Yeah, or beautiful, as you might say.
No, the boy was beautiful. He looked beautiful. His little tuxedo suit, whatever he was wearing, and he looked all black and brown and God knows what else.
Well, you got to be honest.
He looked like he was special directed by Zack Snyder for this movie.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, although it couldn't have been because there wasn't enough slow motion.
All right, move to the side.
So that's Terrified. That is still currently on Shudder. If you don't have Shudder, I can't recommend it highly enough. Stu, do you have Shudder?
Yeah, I love Shudder.
Yeah,
I love it.
Shudder's great. Shudder has like that horrifying sound it makes when you turn it on.
Boom,
boom, boom. And it's fairly cheap. I think it's like $65 for a year.
Or if you have Amazon Prime, you can just get it a monthly fee of like $5 or whatever, $3 to be able to see it.
Yeah.
Because with Amazon, you can get all those channels instead of getting the apps.
Right. We all stand for Shudder. Go check it out.
Woo-hoo.
So Eve picked Terrified. Thank you so much. But
I have
now
a question about this movie. Like,
yes.
Are we getting into the ratings now? Because I have a hypothetical that I'm not sure about.
We were going to. We were going to, but let's say your piece first.
There's either a line in this movie that doesn't make any sense, or what's happening is not what we think is happening. Because Funes is running around and being scared, and he's talking to Albrecht, and I think Rosentalk says it at one point too, where they're like, don't believe what you see.
Yes,
they
she
both
does tell him.
Very specifically are like, you can't believe what you're seeing is not what's actually happening. And that never really comes back. But what I thought at the end of the movie was, did none of what he saw happen, but the supernatural element of everything tricked him into burning them all alive? Like, did he murder them all with the fire because the supernatural element was making him see shit that wasn't actually happening? Is that a possibility?
Well, to go to your point, 2 points is the guy says at the end that Rosenstock is burnt, and they also make the mention of it looks like Funes did this and he's a fugitive. So, I mean, obviously he doesn't think he did it. But
if that's what happened, the movie doesn't spoon feed it to you at all. It's just, I just picked it up from the line because people told him 2 or 3 times not to believe what you see, but that doesn't really come back in any way. Nothing he sees.
But then there was I'm sorry, John, but there was another scene where when the doctor because the blood was getting sucked, he told them go clean the blood because they're attracted to blood and they're going to come for the blood. So he's out there cleaning.
That's said 2 times. That's said.
Yeah, Albrecht says it to him too.
Rosentalk says, clean all the blood that's in the house right now. And he's like, me? And he's like, clean all the blood. And then Albrecht says, your hands are bloody. Go wash them right now. Because they're attracted.
But only don't watch. And she said that you use the tap water.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't know if you guys caught that. So he was watching it with bottled water, not tap water. If you caught that,
yeah,
so
you're right.
It's like there's so many juicy little tidbits that it's like, okay, where are we going with this?
Yeah, it's very cool because it kind of sets up, like kind of Stu just alluded to, it sets up its own like universe of rules, but also doesn't spoon feed anything to you. And even in the end, it literally leaves it up to your mind. Like, did that happen? Because when you really think about it too, we follow Funes in that whole end scene, and he's the one that's going through all these houses. And, aside from the investigators who are like on the peripheral, is he ever really?
No, we never really get Rosentalk, Albrecht, or Yano as the focal character.
Right.
Except for, I guess, where Yano's on the phone. That's
Right.
really the only time.
Yeah.
What I was going to say was, is he ever even physically interacted with by any of this stuff? I don't think he is. Like, except for maybe the fucking thing running into the car. When he's like having the heart attack and everything, like that creature doesn't touch him. Nothing attacks him. There's no scene where he has to fight anything off.
No.
He literally, you're very right. He very well might be seeing all this shit.
And also when Albrecht was calling the other guy, she's like, pack your things, we have to go, pack your things, we have to go. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? The other guy never answered.
Right.
So was that really happening, or did he kill her already? You have me thinking now twice about this film.
you did get some of that same radio gurgle that you got on the door buzzers. This is a movie that definitely invites a rewatch. I don't think the rewatch is going to answer that stuff for you, but it might bring to light stuff like he never interacts with anything in this whole period. Yes, like you're right. Like he washed his hand with bottled water, and even though she did say don't use the tap water, and she said the water's a conduit for this fucking evil shit. Yeah, very very interesting. Okay, let's rate this. Eve, usually we try to go with ladies first, but you picked this, so you go last. I'm gonna go over to Stu World Order over here. Stu, real quick before you rate it, tell everybody about your website, your show, all that good stuff.
The Stu World Order podcast, we talk random comic book movies with our guests. They draw a movie at random, and then we talk about it. It comes out twice a month. Find us on Twitter at SWO Productions, where mostly I just meander on about food or some crap. And go to the website, swoproductions.com. We have pop culture articles pretty much every day. Comic books, pro wrestling, Pop-Tarts, movie, TV, whatever we feel like talking about.
I'm going to put you on the literal hook right now, even though it's a year
literal
away.
Hook, shit.
Right? I'm just going to hang you up there like Leatherface. But they just announced it. I don't have the dates in my head, but in September of next year, of 2022, CT Horror Fest is coming back, but for 2 days.
Ooh.
I think you should make the trek out to Connecticut for those 2 days, hang out with us at our table.
I think you should.
You can sleep over my house.
I 100%, when COVID is less of a thing, I'm coming to Terrificon. I'll come to CT Horror Fest. Yeah, it's just, I'm in the part of my life where like I'm going out to eat, I'm going shopping, I'm going to the movies, but like I'm wary of big sporting events or conventions or stuff still just yet.
That's fair. All right, that's fair.
Oh, I have one question, young man. Since you do all the movies regarding comics and things like that, what is your feel about all the films from Marvel being pushed back? It's like, I just reading about it. Everything was pushed back.
I didn't like that at all. I don't want to wait for shit. I'm glad they didn't push back No Way Home, because I've been waiting for that movie long enough as it is. So I'm happy that that's coming out. And I guess they got to a point where they re-looked at their schedule and was like, hey, maybe not have 6 movies come out in a year. Maybe that's too much, especially with all the Disney Plus stuff. But I would watch 6 movies in a year. I'm fine with that.
I'm saying.
Here's my thing about the MCU. My thing about the MCU is now I have a reason to live. In that,
Jesus,
for a long time, it was like,
Louise.
I just don't want to die before Avengers Endgame comes out.
Oh.
And then I saw Avengers Endgame, but it's like, but now they have so many more movies. I also don't want to die before any of those come out. So I just don't want to die until the MCU like jumps the shark and goes full Star Wars.
Stu, it's weird to hear someone say that, because I got to admit, I've had those thoughts before about things like, like you get 2 movies into a trilogy you love and you're like, it comes next year, and I'm like, fuck, I hope I don't die before next year. And as dumb as it is, the thought should be, I hope I don't die because I want to live life. But no, it's like, I don't want to miss like part 3 of whatever. Like, fuck, I don't want to be that guy. All right.
No, but then you live and the movie's shitty, so
yeah, that's I have life insurance. If I die, my wife gets $100,000.
Nice.
But I don't get to see the movie.
You should not have said that on this show, because it might be admissible now if something happens.
She needs to. I told her on Facebook. I wrote, you need to pump up that life insurance. Pump it up a little higher. 100,000 is nothing.
You're talking about this on Facebook, Stu? Christ. All right, let's get back to Adorados, aka Terrified. Stu, what do you give it? Scale of 0 to 5, quarter and half scale optional.
I think talking about it has made me like it more. Initially, I thought this was a really well shot, great looking movie, great direction, great cinematography. I thought the story was weak. Like, I thought they got an A+ director, A+ set designers, people who really know how to make a horror movie look horrifying, not horrible. But the story was just like, what's actually going on? Why are these paranormal people who are professionals so bad at their jobs when you get to the end? But I'm going with my headcanon here. And in my headcanon, this is the multiple Jasons theory for this movie. The spirits made him see shit that wasn't there, and they made Funes kill them. Like, they're not powerful enough to walk around and kill people. They're just kind of living their lives. Like, the guy didn't come home and say, like, oh, that dog we ran over is back to life, and it's mauling everyone.
Right.
So I that's what I think. It's like the It Follows thing, where, like, I'm just going to think about the rules of this movie universe forever now that I've watched it. And I'll go like a 3.25.
All right, 3.25. That's fair. I thought initially upon watching this, I watched it last night, and I watched it all the way through, but I got tired about 3/4 of the way through, and I fell asleep-ish. I was in and out for the last 30 minutes, and then I started it again last night and got about 15 minutes, and then was in and out for last 15 minutes. And then I watched the last 15 minutes. So
John sleeps through everything.
I kind of
old man.
So I am old. So I thought to myself, well, I got to be fair to this movie. I certainly saw the whole first half. So when I got home from work today, I rewatched the whole second half. And my initial thought of this movie last night was, even after having seen the whole thing and understanding what had happened, was that it was kind of a tale of two halves. Like, I thought the first half was, to me, the stronger half, where you got the little individual stories, and particularly Walter's story scared the fuck out of me, right? Because Alicia's story is frightening in a different way. Like, your dead kid comes back and he's sitting there and he's bloated and his fingers are gone. It's beautiful for the FX people out there. But for me, it's like, that's a dead kid with milk and cookies. I'm not into that. Walter's story is like, there's something creeping in the house. And so you got all these different kinds of stories. And I thought that's really cool. Second half starts and you get the introduction of Funes, who I think is the best character in the movie. But I thought, upon watching the end, I thought, well, it's just not as strong. Well, watching it again today, I definitely like it more, right? And it got me thinking more. And as always, I don't come into any of these shows with a definitive rating, because I'm going to let the conversation bring stuff out that might make me think about it. So I'm going to go a little bit higher than you, Stu. I really did like this movie. I thought it was very solid. There was a couple scenes that I felt were a little CG, that I would have liked the practical effect more. Like the scene where the hand came out of the wall and grabs Albrecht. It didn't look great. And I was kind of taken out by that, because I don't like CG and stuff like this. I would rather just have like a fucking nasty old fucking claw on a rod and some guy going like this. But overall, I felt like it was pretty scary. I felt like there was a lot of good performances in it. And like the best foreign movies, I did not mind reading subtitles. It was involving. I go 3.5. I really did enjoy this movie. And I do think it's worth, I might pick the Blu-ray up. It's worth another viewing. And I think another viewing would be beneficial. All right, Eve, so you've got your show that's going to be starting soon that I helped you name.
Yay.
So throw the name out there, because it's
All
cool.
Horse Eve. You picked the name out. Eve. Yes, you and I have been talking for about a year now, maybe, of me starting a podcast and trying to figure out a name for it and trying to figure out what my niche would be, and knowing how I love horror and all that. I started one with the boyfriend, didn't care for it, so kicked him out, and decided to start my own to really do what I love, which is horror, talk about movies, books, all things. And also the influence the Latin community has with horror, because you don't really see a lot of that. You don't really hear people having conversations regarding, Latinos and what they bring into the whole genre of horror. You mainly just hear, African American influence, the white influence, but nothing to, and the Chinese, the Korean, and things like that. But I kind of want to touch on the Latin influence, the Latin directors. Like, a lot of people don't realize George Romero was a half Cuban. His daddy was Cuban. People are like, really? It's like, yeah, homeboy was one of us. Like, well, I'm not Cuban, but I'll take credit for it. So that's what I'm basically going to be talking about. about this movie. You guys made me change my score. I was coming in with a hardcore 5, but now I changed it. Yes, I did. I changed it because I'm with you guys. I love the 3 little stories that go together. Like the 3 houses in the neighborhood. What's going on? Yes, the paranormal people, when they came in, it could have been done better. I do believe, after talking to you guys and really thinking about it, there had to be a way of not believing what was happening and believing it. Like, we know the kid died because that happened. So we know that had to do with that. And maybe the mother did took the kid out and the kid didn't walk on his own. And maybe the water made her think that what things that were going on, just like Fumes. I enjoyed all the scares, the jump scares. I love the cinematography of it. I love how the homes felt like my growing up homes and my mom's and my grandma's. I really enjoyed the special effects on it. It was subtle. It was simple. It wasn't in your face. Like I said, the monster, aka the alien or whatever the hell that was not overly bloodied. It was just beautiful glisten. It wasn't like it wasn't like a zombie or any of that crap. I love zombies, don't get me wrong. But I give this film a 4.2. I took it down from a 5. Yeah.
All right. So 4.25.
John doesn't want you to go to a 10th scale.
I like my 10s. Thank God. But yes, okay, fine. 4.5. How about that?
No, 4.25 is fine. Quarter scale is optional here.
John is going to negotiate your own score for this movie.
Oh my God.
All right. So 4.25, that's still very good.
I really did enjoy it. I loved the storyline. I loved how the director did it. It had a lot of funny parts. Unfortunately, they got lost with the translation. Like, I giggled a lot, and a lot of the jokes, especially the banter between Fumes and the other gentleman, which I forget what's his name, John, the older gentleman, Geno. Their banter back and forth was hilarious, but unfortunately, it got lost in the translating.
Right.
Their connection was really good. The way he approached Dr. Abrecht, and told her about his experience with the paranormal and how he got involved with it. That scene right there was beautiful. It was explaining his character, his background.
As a native Spanish-speaking person who now spends most of your life speaking English, when you watch a movie like this, do you still look at the subtitles, or do you just listen? You do? Okay.
I do, just to make sure that that's why I was like, wait, what do you mean? He just said it was a beautiful relationship. It was bonita, and then it translated all different. I'm like, what the hell happened here? Like, no, translate that shit right. But it's like it lost a lot of it. Like you said that they're talking about remaking it with Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah.
I think that would be a good idea if he kept it the same way, like the banter between the two characters, which I find to be the 2 main characters in the film. Because Fumes, to me, was supposed to be the audience. If they keep that banter going back and forth, I think it'll be great, because then you guys will be able to understand their beautiful relationship. Like, they worked together, they knew each other.
Right.
And then that'll be great. And it maybe explain more about what really we just watched, because I'm still kind of confused about what the hell that was.
I don't think they don't want you to not be confused. I think they want you to go think about this, like what's going on here. So this has been another episode of Pint of Comics. Happy Halloween time. You can follow us on Pint of Comics at Pint of Comics on Twitter. You can find us on all the different podcatching apps. Please go there, download, listen. To all of you that have been listening, thank you. To all of you that are listening for the first time, thank you. We appreciate every single listen and download. And don't forget to go to Instagram. That's probably where I am most active with pictures of cool stuff. Pint_O_comics. And as he does in lieu of the episodes where Lloyd is not here, Stu, what do you say to make this episode go away?
I think Eve should say it in Espanol. I don't know how to say it in Espanol. See you.
¿Qué digo en español? ¿Qué?
See you.
All right. That's fair.
Nos vemos.
Vamos. See ya.
Vemos.
Vamos is let's go.
All right. Let me do that again. Where the fuck? We're the fuck out of here. Listen to John Rambo talk.
It's over, Johnny. It's over.
Nothing is over! Nothing! You just don't turn it off!